So you walk in, some of you know Brandon, some of you saw him around here, some of you did meet him when we did the thing. Naisha, you remember Brandon, right? New person, right? Stranger. So what did you learn from talking to Brandon that you're going to do differently in whether it's a search for a job, networking, friends, things like that? We'll start with Divya.
Okay. What I learned is that when you approach anyone, you can just like go with a friend. If you're like more introverted, like go with someone who's extroverted.
Yeah, right.
Whether
Sure.
they're dental or not dental.
Yeah, no, someone who wants to talk to people and open up conversations will help you a lot. Perfect. Linda?
Yeah, I actually was going to say something similar. Like, I was thinking in my head of the extroverted friends I have that can help me kind of break out of my shell a little bit. But I also liked how he said you can network by being interested in what they have to say more so than trying to get something from them.
Yeah.
And they'll be more interested in you.
Very good. That's why I always patience. I'm always bringing out the best in them in a fun way. What are you doing after this appointment? I do this. I trick you guys in the same way, but it's a good trick, right? What's the best thing that happened to you? Immediately makes your brain a little happier than saying like, your dentists love to be miserable. So I'm like, what went wrong? You're like, oh, this is a question for me. I 50 things went wrong. Some of you are like, what's the best thing? Like, I don't understand the question, right? I don't know the best thing. So you're bringing out positivity. Jesse?
I think talking about how being a good connector of people yourself makes you a better networker. So being a good, just like kind of middleman or sort of matchmaker in that kind of sense makes you better too.
Yeah, ask good questions. You learn about people. You never know. All these relationships matter, especially in our dental world. It just takes one oral surgeon to say, my best friend in Concha Hawken has a full-time associate making $250,000 a year, and she's moving to San Francisco with her husband because he's working for a tech company, and this person needs somebody. You like this story already, right? I made it up. Yeah, Jesse, like, call me for your fake person, right? Yeah. Javier?
That you should wear something that's a conversation starter.
That's good. Any examples of that you guys had?
Yeah, he told us a story about wearing a dental nachos pin.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
it makes people wonder about you.
And one of the things too is you can ask these questions where, you know, it's like if you said to another dentist, have you heard of dental nachos? And I'm just using dental nachos as the example. It could be a variety of things. So if you said to a dentist, have you ever gone to Spear Coy Study Club? That's a good question because people will say, my friend did Spear. Are you part of Dental Nachos? Because if you bring value to something and they join Dental Nachos and say, oh, this is great, I can ask all these questions, that you guys, what happens is you guys wind up taking it for granted. I want to take it for granted. We take Philadelphia for granted. Oh, you can walk down 13th Street and eat at 8 restaurants that are world class. Doesn't everyone have this? No, they have Applebee's, right? So that's something you can bring to life somebody else. Perfect. Ryan?
I would say it's important to get the other person to talk more and have them engage in a conversation to build trust.
And then what happens is when you're nervous, you fill airspace by talking. So it's like, just say to your brain, okay, ask a question that's open-ended. You know, what are some great things about this practice that have transformed over the years? Perfect example. What are some great things? Paper, put some on the paper. You guys are not going to remember this. What are some things that have transformed? What are some, not changes, what are some things that have transformed in dentistry and how they've affected your practice? Is that a yes or no question, Zach?
No.
Right, that's what you're trying to do. And dentists say, oh, and then they love that. Oh, we used to have a bead sterilizer for endo, and now we have rotary endo. Oh, we used to have regular x-rays, now we have digital x-rays. That gets them excited. Anjali?
You never know what opportunities can rise by talking to different people who aren't even in dentistry can.
Yeah, because there's a person that I know well that took an Uber from the Philly Stadium to the beach, and his Uber driver was listening to how I built this. He said, man, that's a weird podcast for an Uber driver. He started talking to him, and he's doing a startup company. And then this person started talking to him because that person could have been on his phone, could have been posting on Facebook. I said, man, I'm going to take this opportunity to find out more about this person. And now that person has connected this person, who happens to be me, with all kinds of cool opportunities just from asking some questions. So when your brain says, is someone going to say this is stupid, or I don't want to say anything, that limits you in life. And this is the time, right? This is your dentist dating time. It's very important to remember this. If you want to take a break from this when you're my age, fine. But you have to do it now. You shouldn't take a break from it, but it's critical now. Because if you don't find a date or someone to date on August 1st, you may live in a van down by the river. You have to live with that fear, because if you have to live with that reality. If you have student loans, does anyone here have student loans? You're going to have someone, you pay them back, and hopefully it's not your parents who say, Mom and Dad, I need you to pay my student loans too. That's not what you want to ask them, even if they can pay it. Rachel?
I'd say on that note, a smile is one of your best assets.
Yeah.
Just to remember to keep smiling.
Do the thing. I mean, I know I'm a unique person. You know, I know I'm extraordinarily extroverted and a connector. I know I'm extraordinarily comfortable in situations, but you can take some of that away and just be that person with, like, not the face that is people don't want to talk to, right? Just be like that face that's like vibrant, like, oh yeah, maybe I would talk to this person at a dental situation. Because I walk around in some of these things and I see, guys, it's the dental face. It's like, this person doesn't want to talk to anybody. They're just here for the free wine and chips. You can be there for the free wine and chips. That's okay. But while you're there, talk to some people. Anisha?
I guess like, just like, you know, like, it's never too early to like start investing in your retirement. It's never too early to start networking and go. And
Yes,
start
it's never too early to start investing in your relationships.
Yeah.
What's crazy, and it's gonna happen at some point. So here's the thing, dentists shouldn't wait until their sweatpants break to go on a diet. So when I have this event tomorrow, which is the first event I have, Bagels, Bads, in the business of dentistry, to try to help create something, there's like, it's great, we have 30 people. And I said I wanted to max it out 50 people because I don't want 500 people in here because it'd be like the party that's too big. But one year I'm gonna have it and people are gonna say, you're lucky that you got into that event because people are gonna need this to move forward in their career. So do be the early adopter who does this early with meeting people so you practice and strengthen that. So great. Wouldn't it be great if dental school had some of this in it, right? Because they're teaching you in dental school how they think they're teaching you how to be successful with clinical stuff and the Krebs cycle and bite rims, but they're not. Because no one ever asks you about that. They ask you about yourself, bring yourself to life, what are you gonna say in interviews? You know, when people say, what are you gonna say if someone, you know, every interviewer reads like the interviewer's book from the 1970s where it's like, what's your biggest weakness, Linda, right? How are you gonna answer that question? Right? I'm too much of a perfectionist. That's actually a bad thing. Perfectionism is a disease. If someone told me they were a real perfectionist on an interview as an associate, it would really make me not want to hire them. Because in the real world of dentisting, you got to get to goodish, not perfectionism. So sometimes my associate, and you guys know our associates, they were spending too long on fillings. And I'm like, they're like, I'm trying to do a good job. I'm like, you got to get to goodish faster because this is our PPO office and you can't spend 90 minutes to get this done because that's because dental school doesn't teach you how to operate in the world. Einstein, to their credit, does help you get faster, even though sometimes I haven't been in the clinic in a long time, but I don't know if it stops because sometimes it's like 4:48 and you guys are treating it like it's 10 a.m. in the morning. Like, oh, we have the whole day to get things done. In the real world, who is the person who's going to be most upset if you run late? Here's your choices. Owner of the office, patient, team member.
Patient.
Not patient.
Owner.
Team member.
Team member. You will get a very bad reputation because the team members have to pick up their kids, the team members have to get out, and you're better off doing less, figuring out less. Do not run late at the end of the day for team members. Manage that. I don't mean ever, but don't be like, I got to put more retention grooves inside this filling at 4:49 because it's gonna create a problem for you and team members. Zach, how about from your branded session?
Always be ready to network.
Always, yeah, I like that. Always be ready.
That's
Right?
rule number one.
So,
Have a partner in crime, and it's about what you give.
how many of you have cards for yourself? Anyone have cards? You do? You should make cards in Vistaprint and just hand them out. Even though cards are still kind of classic, they're just a good moment. If it's all how things look. Okay, I don't know. No one can understand, you know, chivalry, people treating each other. We're transforming all this stuff, right? But if you went out with a new person, even this is not even a date. If you were walking out, would you like if someone held the door for you out of convenience? Would that be a nice gesture? They don't have to do it, but that's what a business card is in this world. It's a responsible professional gesture to say, this is my card. Now, last trick, and I've learned this from my own business coaches, people like Brandon, if you ask them for their card and they don't have one and you want to network with them, what do? You say, here's my business card, Naisha, but I want to know Naisha, right? I want you to be my associate. I don't want to forget about you. I have 10 business cards. You have 0. Here's my card. Would you call me? My brain goes, Naisha might be young. She might be intimidated, but I really think she'd be a great associate. So I don't want to lose Naisha's contacts, and I have only this moment in time to connect with her. Because if I put Naisha on Facebook, 9,000 Naishas show up, and I'm like, are you the one from Penn thing, right? So I need your info. What do you do in that scenario?
You write their number down on your card.
Take your cards. That means you also need to have a pen at you at all times. All right, good job, guys, on our Dental Nachos networking session.